Welcome to the B6, man.
Welcome to the B6 LA Triple. What's going on?
Back on the bus.
Yes, sir.
Let's jump right into it, man. This episode, call it the Great Expectations, man. I was thinking about, I don't know what made me thought about it, but well, I guess we have kids. I know we don't want to show our age, but we're a little experienced. We have older kids. I know. I was thinking about your daughter too because she graduated and stuff from high school, and I know my son, he got 2 more years, and I was like, he's trying to figure out what he want to do right now, and he's asking a lot of questions about a lot of different jobs. And I know he's like really shy. He don't really want to deal with people. I'm the same way. He's like me, but a little worse. I mean, hopefully he gets a little better, but he wants a job where he don't have to really deal with people, like kind of in the background. So he was thinking like, what about a software engineer? I'm like, make sure just YouTube it, see what they do, and see if that's something you like, because you might not like it even though it's like in the background. So my daughter, I'm like, what do I want from them? What do I want them to be? In my head, I used to always think, I want them to be like a doctor, a lawyer. But what do
So
you
wait,
want from your child to what do you want your child to be, like,
so wait,
as a
when you
profession?
when you said he was asking you about that, is he talking about for like right now or like for the future?
I mean, he's getting ready to go to college in 2 years, so he needs to kind of pick a major. So, and the major is going to dictate what you're going to be, your career, your profession. So he's trying to narrow it down. Like, what do I want to do? Before he used to say some kind of science stuff. I forgot the title, like someone who studies like space. But I don't think he want to put in that many years in school. So he's
Mm.
trying to figure out something else because he likes science, but so he's thinking maybe like a software engineer. So, but he don't. I don't. I mean, I worked with software engineers before, but I don't know the details of their job. Like as far as I know, they basically design softwares and maintain it and implement it and stuff like that for companies. Like say they want to do something particular, like specific. A company, a software engineer could come in and design it for that company and maintain it and and run it or whatever for them.
Yeah,
So, but I don't have hands-on experience with it, so I can't like teach him to be a software engineer or show him exactly. So I'm trying to tell him to YouTube it, do research, see if that's something you like. I'm trying to explain to him you don't want to pick a career and not like it.
right.
Like I think me and my wife was talking about it, and she was like, when she was growing up, it's like she was just told to either be a nurse or a teacher, and she started to try to be a nurse, but while she's learning to be a nurse, she realized that's not something for her. It's like other
Mm.
people, her moms, like they pushed that on her, but she didn't want to be a nurse. People just push certain careers on you because it's like that's what's in right now, or that's what's
Right.
supposed to make money,
Making
or
money here.
so. But when she realized, she said she wastes a lot of time and years, trying to do something that other people wanted to do.
Yeah.
But she didn't. So I don't want to make the same. We don't want to make the same mistake for our kids. So I was just thinking that as a topic for us, like question for you is like, what do you want your daughter to be, and what do you think she wants to be?
Well, my situation is a little bit different. My daughter's older. She just finished high school. Now she's in college. And uh, when you brought this topic, I was like, at first, I ain't gonna lie. When you texted to me, I was like, I don't want to do this shit. I was like, I just
No,
said,
but you
it's
always say
like,
that about every damn thing I sent you, man.
yeah, I swear. But then after a while I was doing something else or working, I was just like, it was ringing in my head. I was thinking about my personal life, and it is a topic. And a part of it, it was like, I didn't want to do it because I felt like I wasn't prepared or I wasn't uh, a good example of somebody that could be giving an advice for this topic. That's why I didn't want to do it. Because my situation, your situation, you got the wife, the kids all in the same house. And then my daughter is in another state. I don't have easy access of good one-on-one, eye-to-eye contact conversations. A lot of times when I have conversations is on the phone. And when you're on the phone with somebody, you don't know if they're paying attention to you half the time. Because especially if they're listening to you, they're quiet. Now you got
Yeah.
a teenager that's you talking about with this type of situation. Teenagers are really distracted. I know I be distracted when people be talking to me sometimes on the phone. So a lot of times I don't even like having real conversations with her because I'm like, she could be on TikTok right now, not even paying me no mind. And I'm trying to give her some jewels right now, some good content, some good stuff that she needs to know for the future. And there's sometimes I've caught her where she wasn't really listening. I'm like, all right, I gotta go. I'm not gonna sit here and be talking my ear off if you ain't listening, so I'll go. But for this situation, um, she's in college and a lot of things that we need to get done. I always feel bad. I say, well, if I was there, that's another parent that could have helped her do this, do that, you know. So I feel like I'm like kind of stepped back or like I got to play catch up a little bit. So I just finished helping her get her resume situated, you know, because she's going to school part time. So she has a lot of free time, and you know, trying to give an adult money just to be okay, it can be pricey. If you sit at home and you an adult or a young adult, you can blow through money quick. You know what I mean? Food, clothes, just regular stuff. It gets pricey. So um, I she's going to school for business management, and you know, I was like, you know, nobody goes to school for that anymore. Like usually, if they go for that, they don't even use that degree. I went to school for business management, and I could have got to the same level that I'm at right now
Well,
without it.
why she picked that, or who picked that for
Because
her?
she don't even know what she want to do yet. So it's like she just picked that and going to school and trying to think about stuff that she would want to do. So when she was younger, she was playing the instrument. So this is a conversation we just finished having like a couple of weeks ago. You know, my daughter is a lot like me. She's not a talkative person over the phone, um, and she's not a social person. She's only social with her small circle. Probably a lot like your son. So I'm talking to her and I'm saying, hey, what do you want to do? I mean, I know when you was in school, you was playing an instrument. You want to play your instrument. So I don't have the instrument anymore. I took it back to school. Like, well, if that's what you want to do, let me know. We'll go get an instrument. You can continue going back to playing it. Maybe that's something you can do in the future. So I don't know. I don't think I would want to do that. I would just like to do it as a hobby. All right. Well, what else? What do you want to do? I don't know. Well, you like to dance. You want to be a dancer? You do dance well. I just like to do that free time. So we weren't going anywhere. So I had to go back into just throwing ideas out there. Similar to what you said with your son, uh, was getting advice about, you know, or which what in the past people were doing. Hey, go into nursing because this is what's popping right now. This is what's making money. Go into this field. So I found myself doing the same exact thing. I said the same thing to my daughter. Hey, you want to go into nursing? That's a good field. But I was giving her ideas of where she could be successful, and then she didn't have to be social, just like your son. So she wants the difference between your son and my daughter right now is that your son is thinking for the future. He's not thinking about work now. My daughter's thinking about work now to have a little bit of money in her pocket while she's going to school. So I said, hey, look, you know, my first job, I worked at the library. You don't have to be social there. And if you are, you can be quiet as if you are being social, but you're actually being, you know, your shy self, you know, kind of quiet. You have to be quiet. It's a library. So my first job was in a library. I was like 16, 17 years old. Why don't you apply for the library? She was getting a little frustrated, applying for things, and things are not, you know, nothing is being is open to her. I say I had to buckle her down and say, hey, you know, my first job, I didn't get it right away. And then after my first job, the second job, I didn't get it right away. I got a lot of no's. When you don't have no experience, you're going to get more no's than yes. So that's what we're going through right now is to trying to teach her to stay focused. You know, I don't know about you. If you were lucky, the first job that you applied to, did you get it right away?
It didn't work like that for me. I
Oh,
understood
you got a
early.
hookup, right?
Yeah, you have to know people.
Exactly.
Um,
I kind of told her that too.
yeah, he basically just handed me the job. So it's like he brought me in, and I wouldn't even call it an interview. Basically, filled out the application, and then they called me in to start. That was at Pergament. My first job was Pergament, which
So
was a
you
whole.
have any jobs that you applied to where you had to actually apply and got some no's, or everyone was kind of like a layup for you?
The second job I think was in Florida at Publix, and my sister actually
Ah, damn,
used
Mr.
somebody to
Hookup
hook
right
me up.
here. You
So
Mr.
Publix, I
Hookup.
worked for Publix for like a lot of years, and I guess it will be the last one. And then when I was trying to get into the corporate side, I got in good with my site manager. He basically brought me up there and helped me get the job in the corporate part. But the last job was this one, whatever. When I had to go back to work or whatever, and at first I applied and I didn't get it. And the older me now, I called them. I'm like, yo, can I get some feedback of why I didn't get it? And it was a job that I felt like I was way overqualified for. And then when I called back, she was like, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't. She said, just apply again. And I apply again. So me applying again was her basically giving me the job. She got tired of like he's persistent. Let's hire him. So
I like it.
that's how I got the last one. They
You're not
were
a good example, is what I'm saying, though.
not a good example.
No,
Yeah,
because
I
you
know
have
I know how it works. Like, well, bro, you
no.
can't
Well,
if you
no, you
apply for
are.
a job, 100,000 people applying for the same job. What they gonna why they gonna pick you for? You got to know
Oh,
someone who's gonna pick your name out the
yeah.
hat.
Well, you a good example of is not what you know, is who you know. Because my daughter's smart. Uh, she's a good person. She should get the job for some of the things that she applied for. But it's you were fortunate enough because who you knew
Right, but
at the time.
she's going against people like me who knows people.
Right.
So
Right.
it's like she might get it, but it's hard as hell to. She has to
Hmm.
kind of network and find and ask people, hey,
Right.
talk to people who's like as far as who could get you in a position because you just need someone to put your name on top of the list
Right. Right. Right.
because it's a
Right. Right.
long list. So you
Hmm.
gotta network and talk to people and see if they could hook you up. Basically, I mean,
Yeah.
you're doing your part too. You're not like just give me the job, but like at least here, can you have someone look at me? Because they're not looking
Right.
at you. It's too much
Hmm.
papers to look at. They're not looking at all the papers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. So as far as with my daughter and her situation, I'm just trying to implement her to stay focused. You know, because she just when I spoke to her last, I was a little frustrated. I was like, hey, look, did I tell you? Call me. We're gonna do some phone interviews and just prep her into going in the right direction. But right now, I'm trying to coach her into staying focused. Like, hey, you're gonna get a lot of no's, but I'm gonna use your idea. I mean, I'm gonna have to. While you was talking, I'm sitting there thinking about maybe her mother could hook her up with a little side job at her job, or her uncle,
yeah,
or her
that's what you got to
stepdad,
do. Yeah,
or her cousins. But she is just so I don't want to be bothered with nobody. I want to do things on my own, and that's not the mind frame that's gonna get you that job. I say, you're gonna get a lot of no's, but you just gotta apply for certain things that suits your character. She's very to herself. She don't really want to talk. I was like, that's why I say you should apply for that library. That library is probably your avenue right now.
and I don't want to volunteer my wife's services, but like she interviews people for like a living. Like when people who applies at her job, she's one of the people's in the room interviewing people. So she's very knowledgeable on like the interview questions and answers, what they're looking for and stuff like that. So like my nephew and stuff like that would ask my wife questions and she gave him good guidance to like basically he didn't get the job, but then she gave him advice to where he got his second job. Like
Mhm.
basically told him what to do in order to like basically reach back out to them, almost like what I did, and like
Right,
let them
right,
know
right,
you
right,
like
right.
still interested, and like tell them stuff that she would want to hear, and it led him to them calling him back instead of for a manager job, they called him back for assistant manager job, and he was able to get that. And I think it was because of the advice of my wife. He was very appreciative and stuff like that. So like
Mhm.
I know she don't like lend, I know she likes or don't mind lending those advice out. So I mean, if you ever want to reach out, that she's good at that, like that part. That's the skill.
It would have to be a third party, man. You know, my daughter ain't gonna call
Yeah,
nobody.
yeah, yeah. Which
And
it
if
could,
she,
easily be. You know, my wife, she doesn't mind
yeah,
talking to you and your daughter or whatever. But
yeah.
it's you got to network, you got to know people. But it's my daughter now, my younger, she's a different case. Like my son is like um we always say he studies on his own. Like you don't have to tell him to study for a test. Like he could be in his room, what are you doing? He's studying for his test. Like he takes his curriculum or his education, whatever, seriously. My daughter, she doesn't really apply herself. She thinks she knows more than she probably knows, and she's more talented than hard working. So
Mm,
and she wants to be like a designer. Like she's very good at it, like designing. She could make a dress for you. Like she could just do that on the computer or on paper. She's talented with that, and I wouldn't knock her or tell her like she wants to go to like a fashion institute type of thing. Like she want to do it like in Paris or New York. Like she's and we want to feed her whatever she likes to do. And I'm not discouraging her from doing it. I want her to be like a lawyer or something, but I'm not gonna force that on her whatever. She could be whatever she wants. So we try to feed whatever she likes and encourage whatever she likes. But that's gonna be a different. That's a difficult career to be like a stylist or you know to create your own type of stuff, whatever it is.
mhm,
It's not a easy career. It's like almost like more of a business than a career.
mhm.
So that's a difficult road. I think my
Yeah,
son has an easier road, but my daughter's just creative, and I don't want to stop that. Like I want her to be as creative because you never know. She is talented. I ain't gonna lie. So
if she's that much of a creator, well, she could like help you fix up your website.
she does all of that, man. She's the one who creates our. Or yeah, I know you don't even visit the damn YouTube, but she created our whole YouTube page where she add the channels, add the chapters, add the links. She does all of that. She's 12. She edits our video, bro. Like she puts the intro, she edits, she does our shorts. She does all of that for us. I do none of that. Like she does it. Like you got to check it out one day.
Yeah, one day I will.
You got to check out your old podcast one day, bro. Like log on,
My girl checks it
give us
out.
a view, give us a like, say subscribe,
Hopefully my girl liked it. I don't know.
bro. Give us a subscription, bro. Like subscribe to
I,
it.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna,
Help
I'm
us
gonna
out,
support
man.
her a little bit.
Give us a view.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah, so this is at 12. So just imagine, again, but that's not my expectation. I didn't want, I never thought that for her. Like, used to always ask, what you want to be when you grow up? She's like a YouTuber. Like that's what she would say. Like she's just creative.
aside from work, what is the expectations you think you would want from your kids?
You know what? To get a little deep. Let's go. If we had some like music to like change whatever, like
The thing, oh,
let,
you're doing
let,
to fix it later. Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
let's let's get a little deep. Like honestly speaking, like I know you don't like to talk about our age, but we used to watch these shows growing up with family. Like they had a show called Family Matters or the Cosbys. You ever thought about how old they were when you was watching them? Like how like we watching parents like raise kids, and like Family Matters, like Carl and Harriet, like I think they was in their 30s, if I'm not mistaken. And right now, I'm not in my 30s. I'm older than 30. So I'm just looking at them like, you know, that's me right now. I'm raising a family and stuff like that. But I really, honestly, I want to, like, my greatest wish right now is just I want to see my kids grow up. Like, I want to see them. I'm interested to know how they turn out, and I would love to like see that. Like, it's not life is not guaranteed for you to be 50, 60 years old, but I would love to, like, how they're gonna turn out. What kind of career they're gonna have. Like, walking my daughter down the aisle. That's like those are my goals. Like, to see. Like, I always tell you, like, my thing is like my kids. I give my all to my kids. So it's like I do everything for them, like to help them, guide them. So like I want to see what that turned out to be. Like, I would not, everybody would hate to die, right? You know what I'm saying? But I would, I would hate to die. I could say that,
And
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 not see how they turn out. It's like if I see how they turn out and I know they turn out well and my job, like I think I could die in peace in a way. You know what I mean? Like I really want to see how they turn out because I put so much into them that I want to see how that. Even if I don't see it, obviously I don't see it. What could you do? But I would like to see it. And that's my wish in life is to see how they turn out. Like after college, I mean, I have a lot of information. I just feel like my kids are a better version of me, and I want them to do. It was something that says there's no man want to see another man do better than them, other than their son. Like, I want to see my son and my daughter do better than me, and they're set up to do way better than me. And I want to see that. But even if I don't see it, I believe it's gonna happen, whether I'm here or not. That they're gonna do something great with their lives or whatever. And also, I know so much now. Like, I feel like if I was to start my life over, like, I'll be a lot further ahead because, like, I know, like, what to do with money. Like, I understand my money better. Like, to put your money in like a instead of a regular savings account, a high yield savings account. Like you do your 401ks, do your IRAs, do you make sure you have your emergency fund savings. Make sure you put your money in investments. It's like if you do these things early, like, you could be a millionaire if you just go slow and steady till you're like 50 years old, and you could have like millions in your bank account just by doing things early and having compound interest and stuff like that. I just want to make sure my kids know that. I want to make sure they're doing that. I want to make sure, like, if they need money, help for like a down payment to a house, I can help them get that house. It's like I feel like I have enough knowledge for that generation to be a lot better than my generation. Because my father, great guy, whatever, like he taught me what he knew. So you can't teach me what you don't know. So now that I finally learned some things that I never knew, I want to make sure I teach my kids early about these things, so that way it could help generation, beyond them, like, you know, after them or whatever. So I just feel like, not to get too deep, but that's what I want, man. I just want my kids I want to see my kids grow up basically and be an adult. Who knows, man? They could disappoint me.
I don't think so. I
But
think
like kids, like
the
base
only way that they can disappoint you if they get sidetracked with the company that they
anything can
keep.
happen, bro. Yeah, anything can happen. Company, it
Yeah,
could be somebody get pregnant. Like, anything could happen to derail anything. It happens. It's everyday life. Who knows? It could be something even worse than that. You make one mistake, like you said, a company, you driving in a car with the wrong person, type of stuff. Who knows? But hopefully everything, everybody stay healthy and
if they
make the
get
right decisions.
if you have a good relationship with them where they value your opinion and your thoughts, I think they should be fine. especially if they about to make a big power move on the friends that they keep in, the relationships that they in. They should be fine. If you don't have, or they're kind of one of those kids where they felt like they're being attacked by you, or you and Terry, where they don't want to value your opinion, then maybe you could feel like, shit, they could go sideways. Because sometimes kids grow up and they be like, I've been tired of listening to my parents all my life. I'm gonna do my own thing. So anything that my parents say, I'm gonna do the opposite, and it kind of backfire.
But that's when you turn 18, like you're a young adult, you feel like you know more than your parents.
Right.
I think that's
But
almost
not, but
like a
not
kid.
all kids are like that. Some kids will listen and they will.
Well, we'll see. I don't know.
And you think your kids are built like where they gonna change a little bit when they get older?
I think everybody's like that. I think everybody's like that. When they
Uh,
become an adult, young
Whenever
adult.
I talk to my girl, I feel like she didn't give her parents that much headache.
Okay.
I feel like she just like she was one of those. If her parents say, "Hey, I need you in the house by 11," she was in there 10:55. For me, I kind of pushed that envelope. Hey, Jay, I need you in the house by 12. This nigga ain't getting here this morning. That's the type of person. So I'm hoping that our kids. I mean, my daughter, she listens, but she still don't at times. She's so it's like you gotta hope and do everything you can that you can keep or save you that relationship with your kids, that they will value your opinions as they get older. But anyway, let me give my feedback on what I want my expectation, my overall uh, goal, and it's mine is a little bit harder. It's a simple one, but it's a hard one. Sometimes when I sit back thinking about my life and how it turned out, and how my daughter's life is turning out because of some of the choices I've made, my goal or my expectations or wants for my daughter is real simple. I want her to find the right companion and build and form a team, an unconditional bond that won't be broken when they decide to extend their family, or whether they do or not. A lot of times people will uh, get in a relationship, um, have family, and when something gets hard, they run away. And now, and I think we've talked about this. I know we've talked about this in the past in the podcast on why it's important to stay in a relationship or not have a kid with anybody, because it causes so much of problems for everybody. It causes problems for the parents and it causes problems for the kids because now the kids is caught in between their parents. So it causes a chain reaction to so many factors that nobody thinks when they just in a relationship. You know what I mean? I don't want what the world exercises on a day-to-day basis or all the time to be a statistic in my daughter's life, meaning that she'll just have a kid with somebody and then it don't work out, so they split. And they're like, you know what? I wasn't happy. It was toxic. Instead of going to counseling and getting it fixed, they just split. And now the kid has to be caught up in the middle of this. And obviously, they love both parents and they don't want to see them separated. And if you ask 99% of kids in the world who they want their parent to be with, they're going to say the other parent. They don't not going to give you a real. It's just like if you and Terry don't last, yay. Um, uh, who do you want? Who you want to live with? You know what? They're gonna say they're gonna be confused. They're gonna give you an answer, but ask them another follow-up question. Who do you want to see dad with? Who you want to see mom with? They're not gonna say Paul down the street or Stephanie down the street. They're gonna say that the other parent. You know what I mean? And then even if they do accept the person that's in your life, Now you done made it difficult for the kid because who they gonna go to Thanksgiving with? Hopefully y'all in the same state. You know, what if y'all not in the same state? Hey, what you doing for Christmas? Well, I was gonna come to your house, but mom is in another state. You know what I mean? Now you feel like you giving that kid an ultimatum. So in a nutshell, what I want for my daughter is to make sure she finds the right partner. If as long as it's not toxic, where it's not physical abuse, verbal abuse, find some type of common ground where if you do bump into some problems that you can work it out through counseling or something like that. Because I am a prime example, whether you want to take it good or bad, of a broken home. And most African Americans and Latino families are a product of that, and it just causes so much problems in so many areas that nobody really thinks about. So I just want unity, basically, for my daughter.
It's interesting because, and that's why it's cool to have this podcast, because we have different perspectives, right? Because based off your experience, you know, and it's
Yeah,
like it's smart to like to learn from your own mistakes, but it's even smarter to like learn from other people's mistakes. That's a wise man right there, a wise person. But like our perspectives are different. I didn't even consider that, and the reason why I didn't consider it because it's almost it's almost like it's a given for me. Like that
right.
answer that you gave because of the example that I leave. I'm like, I would hope they see me and my wife all the time together and most of the time happy and just working together and doing stuff as a partnership. And my parents, their grandparents, is like they see that, and I would hope that that just subconsciously
Try to do the
continues.
same
Right?
thing.
I don't
Yeah,
have to tell you like, hey, you see what I do with your wife every day, my wife every day. Like you see it. Like you should want the same thing.
right.
I don't know. I never even like try to do your thoughts. I never try to put that on them and like, yo, make sure you find the right partner and stuff like that. I'm naive
It's
about it, but
it's
I'm hoping that that's just understood. But maybe I should
it's
have those
it's
conversations.
it's you have to every now and again. You should, um, because you never know what's going on in their minds.
Right.
Sometimes you have to just say it. But I'm gonna tell you, if you can do it, if it does happen, I can already see your future on how wholesome and fulfilling that alone, that you don't even realize what you're feeling will feel. Meaning that, imagine, let's see, 10 years from now, um, your son will be 24, 26. He'll be 25. He'll be in his
Yeah.
20s, right?
25. Yeah.
Um, and then Lisa, she's gonna be probably
Yeah.
just about 21 or 22, something
Yeah.
like that.
22. Yeah.
Um, Imagine you, so that means you almost will have an empty house. Let's put it back to 15 years. Put it
Yeah.
forward to 15 years. Imagine that now you and Terry just chilling in the house. You got a
Yeah.
cocktail, she got a cocktail, smoking on something, whatever you do in the backyard, whatever you're doing, working around the house, you get a call from one of them, they coming over, and you're not even thinking the realness or what's going on that's so unique and so rewarding, I should say, because they're only coming for a little while. Paint you two pictures. One, they come in, your kids will come to your house to see both their parents. They may be having a problem, they may not be having a problem. They just wanted to check in. Good conversations, good times, maybe go out to eat, then they go home. Now you and Terry come home, smiles, and not even thinking, probably saying it to one another. And we got two great kids. They came by to see us. And that's it. Maybe they wanted some money, maybe they didn't. But they came to one house to see both parents.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of people that can do that. In this age, I gotta go see mom on Sunday. I'm gonna try to squeeze that in on Tuesday because I got an early day, or I ain't got nothing to do. Oh shit! I forgot I got a date on Tuesday. I'm not gonna see. I'm gonna see dad the following week. But if you both in the same household, all the kid need is one day, or maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes. They down the
That's
street.
insane.
I'm gonna go check them out.
That's
It's it's
insane.
it's just those little
Yeah, but
things
how you teach that to your daughter though? Like, I see.
you
I'm
teach.
not. I'm not
You
verbally teaching that to my kids
you don't have to.
because I'm living. But you're not in that situation,
I
so you
know.
have
So it's
you have to get that message across.
well. So for me, it's not. It's going to be a little bit easier only because I know this knowledge and I'm talking about it, and I'm already thinking about it. Other people, when they split up, they leave with this bitterness, or they'll talk to the girls. Will talk to the girls, meaning that me as a man, I'm talking to my guy friends and saying, fuck that girl, whatever. I don't, yeah, I didn't need it. It didn't work out, or whatever. And I'm holding that anger. And for me, I'm not gonna talk bad about my daughter to anybody that she cares about. And I'm hoping her mother does the same thing. You know what I mean? But my situation is different. I already thought how this could affect my daughter. But imagine all those other people out there that stood up with a significant other that had a kid, what they're saying to their kids, and how those things that they're saying is teaching them to think and move in the future. That's why the circle of life is always the same for our youth because of what we're telling them and what they're seeing. They're seeing mom, dad having a kid, and they're having fun separately when that's not how it should be. They should see mom and dad having fun, raising a family together because that's how a kid is taught. I told you on my spare time, sometimes I'll watch the animal channels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed and mesmerized how the cubs of the animal I'm watching, how they will watch their parents and learn how life's supposed to be as they get older. I was watching, I think, the 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 lions cubs, or yeah, I was watching lion cubs. Now the lions are different. The father, the lion will is in charge of securing their area or their pride. The mother is in charge of feeding them. You understand? And the cubs, without knowing what they're doing, are just sitting there watching everybody's job and what they're supposed to do. It's like, okay, dad is over there just what is the dad doing? He's just sitting there. And then they learn, okay, he's sitting in a watch, make sure we're all safe. They can be free and whatever. And then maybe if everybody's gone, they look scared. They don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? Because they don't see nobody. But when they're watching and they're learning. And they don't even know they're learning what they're supposed to do in the future. Yeah, I'm supposed to be, if I'm the male, I'm supposed to be watching the pride. But I say that to say, what are our kids watching if if the parents are separated? They're watching bitterness from their mom. I hate your dad because he's not around, he's not providing. So they're learning that that's what's going to happen to me in the future. My mom is going to be bitter. Okay, so when I get older, all I'm going to do is find me a girl. If I get her pregnant, whatever, I'm gonna just go my way. You go your way. If I was thinking of this at with my daughter's mother, I probably if things would have been different. Definitely would have been because I already see the effects that caused my daughter to be where she is and how she thinks and moves. I know she'd rather be with me sometimes, vice versa. And if you asked her, she was in what's going to counseling, speaking to somebody, she probably will want us back together. I don't know. but it obviously is not gonna happen right now. But that's the ultimate goal that I will want for my daughter, and I'm gonna have to talk with her about it. And I'm gonna talk to her in person and tell her, I said, look, man, do you want this type of lifestyle when you get older, when you have your family? Do you want your kids to be subject to figure out whose house they going to on Thanksgiving or on your weekends? And do you want to just go and chill? Do you want to have to think when you're 5 years from now what state you want to live in? Because you know I'm over here, your mother's over there, and your sister's over there too.
Yeah, but
It just makes things difficult. You
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? I
yeah,
want to make life easier. So it's very hard to teach somebody that when not showing them an example on how to do it. You
yeah,
already have the prime example because you and Terry together.
yeah. And I learned a long time ago, like, especially if you have daughters, you want to um, treat your wife or your girlfriend. Well, you want to treat your wife. You want to show your wife love and treat your wife good, so your daughter could see it, right? So she know what type of guy that she should have, right? Like, daughters are usually close with their fathers, and um, if you're treating as a father, as a guy, you're treating your wife like crap, then I would assume your daughter would probably think that's acceptable or like that's okay. So like I go out my way to treat my wife good in front of them. Like I would make sure I kiss my wife in front of my kids. I would make sure I hug my wife. Make sure I do nice things. Like if I'm buying a gift, I'll take my daughter with me to buy a gift for my wife. So I want to show her like how a man's supposed to treat a woman, and I'm hoping that without even saying the words, I'm hoping that she finds someone to do the same thing for her, or at least won't tolerate someone doing her bad. You know, because I don't do her mother bad, so why would she tolerate someone doing her bad or whatever? I usually give my wife like leave my wife and my kids. I like to leave a little note sometimes, like especially because I work at night, so I come home in the morning, everybody is asleep. So the last note I left my wife, I said, like I think like this is like the peak of our relationship. Like I never been this happy, like I never seen her this beautiful type of thing. Like I never. It's like I think we're like at the peak. Like we're in a good space right now. We had arguments and stuff before. We were just talking just yesterday. Like yo, what was the last time we had to go into the other room? Like if we have an argument, like one of us is gonna sleep in the other room. Like we was watching a show last night, and the father came home, and the father was like, "Where's your mother?" And he was like, "She didn't tell you." It was like, "You didn't." She didn't tell you. She went by Aunt Ruth house because Aunt Ruth had an emergency. It wasn't no emergency. It was just like that's what she told the kids because she didn't want to say we're fighting. But the father didn't know, so the kids had said, "What's going on? You and your mom, you and mom had a fight." And he was like, "No." I was like, why he couldn't say they had a fight? So they had a fight. She went away. She told the kids something else, and the father didn't know. So the father knew,
Yeah, because you're teaching the kids something different now. Oh, so your mom didn't tell you that she went over to Ruth's house?
but they know.
So that means, huh?
They know the kids is
They
oh,
knew. So it's
yeah,
you teaching them subconsciously something different.
right,
Oh, I can if I'm with somebody, if I'm in a relationship with somebody, I gotta tell them that I'm going over,
right.
to somebody
You're right.
else's house.
Right. So it wasn't a right way to do
It
it, but
was
that's what was done. But like with me and my wife is like if we have an argument or something, I'm sure our kids notice like dad and mom not sleeping in the same room. Like it's still something. But
mhm.
it's been a while since we've done that. I just said that to her yesterday. I'm like, man, it's been a while since either of us like slept in the other room. It's like
You should you
we've
should
been
have
going
fucked with
good.
her. You should have fucked with her. Hey, I'm gonna go sleep in another room, man. It's just to shake things up for the night.
Yeah, it's been a while. Like I'd be things other than like my health that could be better. That's another thing that we need to. If I'm talking about seeing my kids, walk down the aisle and stuff like that, it's like we got to take care of the body that we have. Like that's the one of the one things that I have to really work on is just like I need to be in better shape. I'm not in horrible shape, but I only have one body, so I can imagine if I feel this way at 41, it's out there. 41.
God damn, man.
How am I gonna feel at 51? Like I said to someone, I like to talk to older people. I love
Lisa,
talking to
edit
older
that.
people. I love to talk to older people, and I was complaining about how I feel, and he was like, "Man, imagine how you gonna," because he was older. He's in his
Mhm.
50s. Imagine how you gonna imagine you in your 50s. It's gonna get worse. Like for him, it's like it's worse in your 50s. He said it's worse in your 50s. So I'm anticipating if I feel not great now in my 50s, I'm gonna feel not great again. That's probably how things work. So just speaking about it is like I gotta get better with my health. I feel like I eat right and stuff like that, but I don't exercise as much. And a lot of times it's because I don't have the time with this job and working at nights and then running up and down with the kids and stuff. I don't get much sleep. I don't get much time to kind of build my body the right way. But I need to focus a little bit more on my body because I need it to be around. I need
Right.
to be around. So, and it'll be nice to like me and my wife again. We talk, and it's like we talk about retirement. We have to have these conversations. We talk about retirement, and a lot of people we know, my father, like people we know, she knows, when they retire, a lot of times death is near. Like they don't really get to enjoy their retirement, all the money that they saved, all the money that they accumulated through retirement, saving for retirement. By the time they're ready to retire, one of the spouses at least is either really sick or like deaf. So like one of her bosses, like by the time she retired, it's like she had to take care of her husband, and then her husband died. Now she's by herself. She never really got to retire and go travel, go enjoy both, each other. So like I know I don't want that either. I don't want to when I get older and like you said, the kids are out the house. I want to be able to have
You
health.
you should do one or two more times uh, before they get too old. Times in the past, some family trips.
Yeah, we have. I know they we actually have one booked to go to Jamaica for a week in March, but we try to do that. The COVID thing had messed that up for a while, but and then sometimes it's just they're annoying to be in a room,
Your
four
kids?
people in a room. Yeah, bro, it's not a vacation. I always tell my wife, it's not a vacation, man. Like when you coming back, it's stressful. Like you got to cater to
You
them.
well, you could. I know you don't want to do it. You should do a. I told you to do a cruise, man.
No, I don't want to do it. But my wife she has one book with
A
my
cruise?
daughter, with my daughter. Yeah, her and my
Nice.
daughter and my mother and my sister. There's a couple family
Oh,
members.
girls.
Yeah, all girls, and her mother
Nice.
is gonna go. I'm like, count me out if it's good. Go ahead. I'm not doing that.
I
But
because you
one
don't
thing
want
that
to be your son going.
nah, and the funny thing he said, when he found out about it, he was like, me and daddy should do something.
Yeah.
And my wife, I guess, questioned him like, what y'all want to do? What you want to do? He said, I don't know, fishing. So I was like, all right, say less. So I called somebody up, my brother-in-law who does fishing, to see if he could line something up. But I got to remind him because I don't fish, so I got to kind of rely on someone else to, facilitate that for us, like where we could kind of tag along, kind of
I
learn from
like it.
them. So
We got a couple people at my job that do that every now and again. Fishing is a thing, man.
yeah, you got to get a
It's
license and stuff for that stuff too, man.
no,
Like,
but it's just like they they have discipline to it where you got to get up fucking crack of dawn, man.
yeah,
You got to
I
get
don't
up
want.
that
I
early.
just want to just do it one time and just. I don't
I
want to get.
haven't done it ever. Have you ever fished?
Yeah, yeah.
I've never
That's the
fished.
reason why I don't like boats because my brother-in-law he took me like you said crack of dawn. We went on a
Yeah, but a
boat,
boat is different than a
bro.
ship, man. You not.
Yeah, whatever. You say that you're still in the middle of water, and
Yeah, but
and I was seasick, and that's what turned me off about just being on boats.
yeah,
People get
Yeah.
seasick on ships, and you feel the motion.
Ah, let's
Yeah,
not get sidetracked, man. We almost said it in the last couple of
but
minutes of it anyway. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
want to throw this out there because I can't say we do everything, but when you know better, you do better, and we're learning through life stuff. How to have your financials and stuff set up. Your life insurance and things like that. When you have kids, things like that should be done. And the one thing that we still need to do, we just got to do it, is set up like a living trust. And a living trust is just kind of just document what you want for your kids. Like God forbid something happened to us, like who do we want to them to live with, basically, and who we want like to guide like the money to basically in charge of your kids until they're old enough to be in charge of themselves. And like if we leave money for them, to basically that person is the one who's gonna give them the money or give them the money the right way. So the only thing we have left is to sit down with a lawyer and draw some of that stuff up to where I know they're good if something happened to me and my wife. Like financially they will be good, but also they will be good with a relative that we trust, and a relative that we trust that would make sure they get their money for college or they get their money to buy their car. Just kind of distribute the funds the right way.
Mhm.
So that's the only thing that we have left to do, which we have in mind to do. And tomorrow is never promised, so can't keep putting it off. But just try to do everything right by your kids. I don't know. I just feel like that's my purpose in life, is to raise my kids like the right way, like teach them everything I know, type of thing. So it's like it's for them.
I like
So
it, man. I like it.
you got to do that. That's something you got to do. Like God forbid something happened to you, you want to make sure your daughter, your kids are taken care of.
Man, they
Sure you
know
have your
what to
life
do.
insurance.
What's the next move? It's definitely a conversation that needs to be had by everybody. I mean, just for me, example, my grandmother passed. None of us was prepared for it. We didn't know about the documents and um, what was left for as a house, what was covered. Sometimes when you set that stuff up, you pass away, the house is going to be paid off through an insurance that you set up. The money that she left behind is already signed and put to certain use to certain people. Unfortunately, with her, when she passed, she had all that stuff, signed it, just didn't submit it.
Oh wow.
It was just like just the short of just not being submitted, or there was one that she was doing a policy and she stopped paying it or something. Um, and when you're not prepared for that and stuff, and it's not just you got set up for the funeral and who gets the house and that stuff. It's just all the little things, funeral costs, and now you got to come out of pocket, moving things around. It's it makes things harder in a sad time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know now, like that information, so you don't want to you don't know when you're gonna die, so you don't want to even wait till you're old to do it. Like
Hmm.
we were lucky with my father because I helped him, so it's like I helped him set all of that up, like because I guess we knew when you have cancer, that's a battle that usually eventually you lose. So 3 years before he died, we set all of that up. It was all his wishes. Like, what do you want? Like, you have to. They call it set your affairs in order. Like, the doctors will literally tell you that. Like, make sure you have your affairs in order.
Hmm.
So it's just whatever you want. And ultimately, basically, with him, everything goes to the wife. You're not gonna split your money to all your kids and split it with your wife. No, my father left my wife, his wife, my mother, well taken care of. So like everything he owns goes to his wife, and then he have his wishes whenever his wife dies. Then he wants it to be broken up, however which way. Like he has six, 7 kids, so he break it up between them, or he tell them, okay, I want this one to have this one to have that, this percentage, that percentage. So everything was said it wasn't a will, it was a trust. So
Mhm.
everything was set in the trust, and every is a legal document, and it's a book binder with everything written down. And like he leave like a trustee or like a executive, like me and my brother is in charge of the trust. So we actually were in charge of my mother's finances, like make sure she has a certain amount of money every month. So we're taking his money and we're just managing it to my mother, because my mother, he know how my mother was. She was never good with money. She never paid bills. So he
Mhm.
just everything is just a legal document. And
Mhm.
we all should do that. We shouldn't wait till we're 60, 70, or till we have cancer to do it. We could go
Mhm.
out, God forbid, tomorrow in a car accident, and then But again, make sure you have your life insurance. Everybody, especially if you got kids, life insurance. It could be. I don't want to get too in details, but they have cheap life insurance where it's like you got term life and whole or whatever. One is
Mhm.
cheaper than the other, but it's like a 30-year term. You could pay like $30, $25, whatever a month, and if you die, you could get like 500,000 or $1 million to whoever beneficiary it
Mhm.
is. But in 30 years, that policy would expire because it's a term life insurance, and now you the bad thing about it is you could pay cheap every year, and hopefully you live through the whole term and you never have to use it. But if you do have to use it, whoever is a beneficiary will get a ton of money.
Right.
So life insurance is not expensive, you know, but
Mhm.
you have different types of life insurance. Ones that's
Yeah.
more expensive, but then you could actually borrow against it, and it's a difference. But just when you have kids, make sure you have your life insurance set up for them. Hopefully, if something happens to you, they could bury you and they could have a little bit of money to help them in life.
Nice. All right. Well, let's close it up, man. Let's final thoughts for me. Great expectations for my kids. Everybody's different. Everybody thinks different or what they want different from their kids. Whatever you want, all I can say is you should implement it and talk to them, and not think that they're just going to figure out on their own. You should talk to them and tell them the goods and the bads. And if you're not doing it as a prime example, explain to them, hey, look, life is difficult for me because I did X, Y, and Z. I think life will be simpler for you if you do it this way. At least explain to them and help them understand um, what you think is right. They're gonna do what they want regardless.
So I was
I
gonna
mean,
say,
you
majority
could
of
you
these
could
kids don't listen, bro. Like they
right.
don't listen.
And so me and you already spoke in the beginning that you have your way of thinking. I mean, not the new way of thinking. You've been brought up in a traditional household. Both parents are there. Made it all the way through. I'm on the other fence where both parents weren't there. I still became somewhat successful in doing my own thing, but uh, I say that to say, being that you and Terry are together and may last forever doesn't mean that your kids are going to repeat the same cycle. I
Right.
mean, I think you have some family members that didn't exercise what your parents did, you know, but
No,
you can only hope. What? What,
I'm
what
trying
are
to
you
think
thinking?
of somebody. Like nobody in my immediate family. Everybody's together.
Happy?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what. But me, you
Yeah,
could they just and
well, that
it's
could be the same.
possible.
Yeah, it could be the
No,
same
no,
for
no,
me. I wasn't always happy in my relationship.
no. But what I'm saying is that th- they're not all perfect, or they're not all the ideal couples or marriages, and it's possibility because they didn't have conversations with their parents.
Yeah.
Like we've had these conversations a ton of times. I know a lot about your family. I know a lot about your dad, and I watch from the outside in, and I'm not even in the immediate family. I know your father was the guy that was out all the time working, and your mom was in.
Yeah.
Now I could have looked at that and took it as okay. That's exactly how a relationship should be. The husband's always out, wife is in, or vice versa. Not making this a sexual thing, uh, agenda thing, but my outlook of it, I perceived it one way. Your siblings could have perceived it another, and that's why they're the way they are. Because the way they looked at it from the outside in, dad is over here, mom is over here, and they good and they still together. I could do that. You know what I mean? They might have looked at it as that that's being right. I'm not saying what they did was right. So what I'm saying is that just have conversations with your kids. Have a conversation with your kids because your dad's silence through his whole life spoke volume to some people like me and you, but to other people might look at it as like,
right,
I didn't say shit to me. I don't know nothing. I didn't learn nothing.
And that example you gave with the Cubs, that's a perfect example. Like for my family, that's how my family is when it comes to the relationship and the marriage and stuff like that. Like we're like the Cubs. We're just my father was a lion. He never spoke. We just watched them. We just watched them.
Right. But that's my point. You grasped that knowledge in silence and understood everything in silence.
Right.
Some other siblings will look at it in silence and say, "You didn't teach me shit, so I don't know nothing."
I don't think any of us did that though. But yeah, he had a lot of us. So he had 6 of us, and we all pretty much like the same. Just been in a relationship for a long time. I can't say they're all happy or not, but I know I wasn't happy on all my years either. So some days it's better than others, but ultimately we all.
But it could be, but the point is, it could be better with communication. Like you could watch from a distance all you want.
Yeah, and a lot of things I wish they would have told us. Like they didn't tell us, right? So
you didn't get the full message until your dad was in his last years, and you was actually physically conversating with him.
Yeah.
You got a lot of answers once you communicated. That's my point.
Some things go without saying, and
some things do go without saying.
You have to say.
Some things you have to say, and that's what I'm saying. Hey, talk with your kids. No, I'm trying to. It's fucking hard as hell. Yeah. But we're gonna try our best.
You're right. There's so much to talk about, but we'll talk about some more on the next episode.
On the B6.
On the B6. Get off the bus, man.